another week here on Earth on this little blue dot.
James, I was going to say that.
Oh my God. I love that. I felt like that was one of the more deep things that I brought to the podcast. And I'm glad that, it stuck with you. Little blue dot.
Little blue dot.
Little blue dot. I will say though,
what's
I've been
the fucking
myself...
point? Sorry, what?
But
what?
Actually though, I have been keeping myself busy watching the World Cup because hello, football. And when I say football, I mean, football that the majority of the world considers to be football, not American football.
Soccer? You mean soccer?
Shut
Football.
Up. Football. And I have never felt more like my father's daughter than I have watching fucking football.
Oh, that's so cute.
No, but it's not though. In real time, when you are watching me sitting there, engaged in a game, the level of swear words that come out of my mouth. And I literally will sit there, and when a goal is being made, I shit you not, goal, and I will run around this house like a fucking idiot. And we did it for Thanksgiving, where we were watching some of the replays because they're happening at 1 a.m., 3 a.m. in the fucking morning our time. And my mom got so irritated with me. She was like, "You are literally your father's daughter," because I'm just constant, just string of swear words, my friend. But anyway, point I'm trying to make is highly entertaining for those who, are into soccer, or what majority of the world calls football. But yeah, have you been watching at all?
No.
Okay. So then we have nothing to talk about.
No, absolutely
okay, cool.
not.
On to the next.
No, definitely not. I don't like sports. Yay, sports.
Lies. You like football, like American football.
I will watch it, but for 4 minutes at a time, and then I'm over it. And yes, I'm part of a fantasy league. By the way, I won today. I'm actually killing it in fantasy, but I don't know who any of my players are. It's just I just pick them.
It's all just a guessing game, really. That's what it is.
And I'm currently in 4th place.
Look at you.
And I beat the person who's in 2nd. So anyway, no, but I'm not really a sports person.
You crack me up because I never in a million years would have thought you would have a fantasy league. And then when I found that out, I think it was a month ago I found out, I was absolutely stunned. The girl was too stunned to speak. And then that's when I realized oh, she likes football, like American football.
Well, yes, I will watch it. Of all sports, it's the one I'm going to watch. But no, it was really just my effort to bond with my team at work. And so it's my team's fantasy league.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll give you that.
And then I realized, there's over $1,000 on the line here. So now I want to win. Money. But I don't think I'm going to win, unfortunately. But it's all right.
Some cash. It's okay though.
Yeah.
Okay. I think given how many topics we got to cover today, and some of them are fucking juicy, juicy. I think we should get into our BBQs. And for our listeners, new and old, BBQs is our basic bitch quickie segment, where we basically go over top headlines of the week, viral TikToks, viral trends, et cetera, and give our quick top of mind thoughts. And with that, I think we should get started. What do you think, Alina?
I am ready. Let's fucking do it.
And is the timer ready?
I have it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so proud of you. Every time that you have it prepped. Just yes. Okay. So first topic of the day, Johnny DeFilippo's post-Bachelor in Paradise revelations about Victoria Fuller and Gregg Grippo. So context for those of you who may not be Bachelor fans, the Bachelor in Paradise finale / reunion just aired this week. And we got a pretty big bombshell for those who, don't keep up with reality Steve, who already gives you the deets way before the actual reunion. Johnny and Victoria Fuller were actually one of the 2 couples that ended up being engaged at the end of Bachelor in Paradise. But then we found out during the reunion / once again, finale, we find out that Victoria may not have been faithful to Johnny. and that while they were trying to work things out, she apparently went full in on dating Gregg Grippo, who is another former Bachelor contestant. And I will be honest, I actually, well, as you know, for our listeners who have followed us from the get-go, know that my husband is a very huge Bachelor fan, like loves the fucking franchise, everything about it. And I am forced on a weekly basis to be subjected to the torture of watching some of these, even though like sometimes I get into it. Other times I'm like, I don't want to hear this. This is just babble. And so I had to actually watch this season finale episode, and it got dicey. Like, Johnny, very sweet man. I actually adored him from when he was on The Bachelorette. I was really rooting for him and his love with Victoria. But she was like vicious on the show, showed no remorse for her actions, said, oh, I didn't cheat. And then timelines are just so iffy, though. It's like clearly she just didn't see a serious relationship with Johnny. Okay. And then Gregg was brought on stage, and they basically said, we don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about us or how we came to be. She's like, I get to walk away with this guy. And they got matching tattoos after like 2 months of dating each other.
That's always a good sign.
Always a good fucking
Healthy
sign.
Relationships.
Woo. So here we are. Timer, please.
Okay. Ready to go. I'm not going to lie. I've kind of not been watching The Bachelor for a while. I just feel like it's the same thing over and over and over again. You know, it doesn't have the same appeal now that our boy Chris Harrison is gone. It just feels like a different show. Not that I'm saying that he should or shouldn't be there. I'm just saying that it just feels like a different show, and like it kind of is like the same shit. And also, I just feel old because they're all so young. Gen Zers, and we know how I feel about Gen Z. So it's just not my cup of tea anymore. But isn't Victoria Fuller, wasn't she like super like on her season, or what the season she was on, wasn't she kind of in the media quite a bit? Wasn't she dating Dave Portnoy? Was that her? She was like already kind of embroiled in a lot of drama before.
Yes. So she was embroiled in drama before. I can't remember explicitly what that drama was, but I do know that she has been very much in the headlines day in, day out since her, I think, what's the word I'm looking for? Introduction into the Bachelor franchise. Yes.
Like she's always a problem.
Yeah. She seems like the type of girl to be opportunistic. I'm going to say that.
I think who isn't?
That's true. But I think she does it in a way, you know, there are people who I think have a good level of emotional intelligence and can do it in a way where it's not full in your face and you still perceive them as like a human who's like empathetic and has feelings and emotions and cares for those around her or around them. I think she lacks in that skill quite a bit. Especially considering like she made herself to be a villain in the finale, which I feel like most people will use that time to try to
redeem themselves.
Like they got some PR training, got some media training. They're like trying to show up and apologize for their behaviors, but that was definitely not the case. She actually was upset that Johnny was putting her out there. And like trying to hold her accountable for her actions. Like she clearly was visibly upset by that. She was like, no, I'm gonna have my cake and eat it to be seen as this person and have the dude that I want to fuck.
Okay. So first of all, I just double checked. She dated Chris Soules, the old Bachelor, as well. And she's the one that was in the media because she modeled for a White Lives Matters clothing brand. I thought she dated Dave Portnoy. I feel like there was like something to do with him too, but it didn't come up in the article that I just found just to double check, to fact check us. Sorry.
Yes. Fact check.
And so it sounds like, yes, like this girl, I think she is opportunistic. She likes to be in the middle of all of the shit that's going on. I will say though, I kind of admire that ability to be like, hey, fuck you all. I don't give a shit what you think about me.
Sure.
The thing is, if it's actually like, fuck you, I don't care, that's one thing. If it's maybe a little bit less, she doesn't care and she really just wants to be controversial, then that's like, okay, you're corny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that that's like good for you. You're in the middle of all this nonsense that you maybe bring upon yourself, but the ability to just let it roll off your back, I think that that is pretty cool. I mean, we were just talking about this, how guys, we've officially got trolls. We've officially got people who literally tell us that we're like stupid bitches that are never going to get married because women like us are ruining these species and whatever, and the whole gender and all these things.
Love incel behavior. Yes.
But
here for it.
But my point is, right, like we're kind of getting, I mean, a very, very, very small experience of what that's like. And we're laughing about it. And like, if someone ever said that to my face, I would probably laugh and say, okay, fuck you. You have a small dick anyway. But so and again, we're not necessarily like, we're kind of putting ourselves in these situations, but we're not putting ourselves in the same kind of situations. And so I kind of admire that behavior a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give her that. I do think though, what absolutely fucking sent me during this finale was the matching tattoos. One last thing. How long do you think they're going to last? I give it like 6 months max.
Yeah. If that. Because he was also like embroiled in a lot of drama as well when he was on The Bachelor, right? Yes. He was the one that like that whole gaslighting thing with Katie. We did a whole episode on it. Go back and listen if you want. That was a great one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Moving on. We got to move on. We got to stick to the timer. We're turning over a new leaf, people.
That's what you think. I think this next one is probably going to send us down a spiral. So this one has been pretty big in the media. Balenciaga S&M ads for kids and clothing stirs controversy even among celebs. So Balenciaga, just for context for listeners, is in some pretty deep shit at the moment, as one of their latest campaigns just came out depicting children in, I would say, sort of a sexualized tone. Essentially, the photographs that were done for this campaign showcasing children with like BDSM bears and them in sort of like BDSM type of accessories. There has been some serious backlash, and deservedly so. But the other interesting thing to this, which has kind of gotten a lot of conspiracy theorists going, is that there is another image from another campaign where it's a purse. It's one of their purses that's laying flat on a desk, and one of the documents that's on the table is related to a Supreme Court case that has to do with child pornography laws. So people are like, make this fucking make sense. Like, one time, y'all did a boo-boo, okay, but like to have that on top of this, dicey. There have been some other images that have come out. I kid you not, TikTok is rampant with videos of people who are doing an analysis of all ad campaigns from Balenciaga that have been sus. Some celebs have come out and denounced this behavior. We just found out that Kim Kardashian has finally come out with a statement. But leading up to today, we did not have a statement from anyone in the Kardashian household, which was pretty iffy considering that, they are sort of spokespersons and faces, I would say, of the brand. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Balenciaga did come out apologizing for the ad campaigns. They removed those, and now they say that they're currently pursuing a lawsuit against the production company for sort of the creative assets. Yeah.
Okay. All right. 5 minutes on the clock.
I just don't even know where to start. I think this is insane to me. I'm not much I would say I have a healthy level of skepticism, and when it comes to people, life in general. Would I say I'm a conspiracy theorist? Not necessarily. There are definitely things that I'd be like, okay, I'm willing to like listen to the data and see and kind of analyze what's being said and make a decision from there. But a lot of times I try to be neutral about these things. But kind of watching people going through Balenciaga ad campaigns with a fine-tooth comb and seeing sort of the child pornography Easter eggs, if you will, throughout some of these campaigns, I'm uncomfortable. I'm really uncomfortable.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to have the unpopular opinion here. And I'm not saying that child pornography is okay by any means. I need to be very, very, very clear. That is not, It's disgusting. The idea of that, like literally, I feel like an 18-year-old in a bathing suit. And I'm like, oh my God, that's weird, right? Just, you're a fucking child. Go home and put on like a muumuu. But So first of all, I feel like Balenciaga going after the production company for the ad campaign that their marketing team approved, fuck off.
Yeah.
Take
100%.
accountability and fucking move on with your life. Like that is incredible to me. I kind of hope that I want to go to jury duty for this because that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like,
I think it's a $25 million lawsuit.
Yeah, it's
and
ridiculous.
What's interesting is there are creative directors who are doing videos on TikTok talking about sort of the required process when you're working with, as an agency working with a brand like that. They're like, this is not something that could be easily slipped, especially from a brand safety standpoint.
Like, I feel like all they need to do is just show the documentation with the CMO's signature on it. And like, they're fine. Yeah. Like, this is just, I feel like this is all just quite frankly, like a publicity stunt from Balenciaga because I don't have to have like a law degree to know or to give them the recommendation that this is not worth litigation at this point. So that's that. I looked at the pictures, I've only seen a couple of them. And I think if there are other ones, I would be not interested to see them, but like, okay, because there's a lot of outrage about this. I feel like one of the bears looks like less BDSM and more like rocker.
Grunge.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie. Maybe this is because I am a vanilla prude, as we all know about this. Like, it's a missionary style household over here. Like, I don't think the white bear with the with just like the fishnets and it's like a studded collar, a blue and pink eye. Like, if I were like a mom walking in the store, I don't think that I would be like, oh shit, that belongs in a sex store. I would probably be like, oh, that's like rocker teddy bear. The other one, yes, that is more BDSM. The kids are not wearing anything BDSM though. I just want to
but they're like holding on to the bears and sort of while the bear's kind of like tied up in a BDSM way, which kind of
one of the bears is wearing BDSM
position. Yes 100%. I also think, to your point, and I don't know this off of the top of my head, but I'd like to see maybe the evolution of like the grunge rocker scene. Like, I wonder if influences of that style came from the BDSM community.
That's a really good topic for another episode. We should write that down right now. No. I mean, I would imagine, right? I think a lot of it kind of tends to like intertwine. I also just think that this campaign is horrible.
I don't know why they thought that was okay.
It just, again, taking the obvious out of it. Like, I think also having like wine glasses and shit. I'm actually looking at another one now where there's like Balenciaga tumblers and then there's like beer glasses and champagne and wine glasses. Like, okay, that's fucking weird. But I just like, I think that artistically, I don't think that these are good photos. And another question I have is like, what are their parents?
That was the other thing. This? So I don't know. So some people are, once again, this is all based of what I'm like reading, but there's no actual like reports on this. Some people are saying that they're Balenciaga employee kids. And I was like, well, that wouldn't make sense. They would have to go through a modeling agency, I would assume. I have no idea. But, I guess money makes the world go round. But if I were a parent, I am not, to clarify for everyone listening.
We're dog parents.
Highly, I mean, we are dog parents, but
we're fur parents.
Highly uncomfortable putting my child in a situation like that. I just, again, are you not on set watching your child?
No, I think that like you have to be there. Like, there's definitely some kind of labor laws around that. So I don't understand. Again, I just would be curious, like, what did they say? I bet you at this point, though, if they come out and make a statement, it's gonna be like, we were never comfortable with it, but I don't know, their child, my kid's college fund or something like that. They're gonna find a way to like be appalled, but it's like you didn't stop it in the moment. Really quickly, what?
No, I was going to say the photographer just came out too and said that he had no control over this shoot whatsoever. That literally it was like set list from the brand, what they wanted, and he just took the shots.
Yes, I get that. But again, like if we want to play this game, why didn't you walk the fuck off the set? Like you didn't,
I get it.
You didn't have to. take the photos. Again, like I said, one of the bears, the purple bear, it is a little that is BDSM-ish.
Yeah.
I think that's weird. But the other one, like I said, if I were walking in a store and I saw that bear, I don't necessarily think that that's where my head would go.
See, the thing is though, Lena, I agree. It's like, I can understand that perspective, but for me, what's been crazy is seeing all of these like pedophile / child pornography / like Easter eggs that are going throughout the shoot. So not only do you have these like kids in a weird, like, oh, okay, this is kind of BDSM-y, but we could go with punk rocker, sure. Then you have the Easter egg of that court case that was referenced, which has everything to do with child pornography. Then there's another image where it's somebody in sort of a jacket, like a full-on, like really nice snazzy outfit. And right by the desk is this frame of with someone's name on it. I can't remember the name, but if you look up this guy's name, he actually was accused and of molesting his granddaughter of 16 years old. I mean, so it's just one too many.
I feel like this is a better conversation once they come out and hopefully address all of those Easter eggs, because that just,
it's wild.
Just doesn't make any sense to me. And maybe that's like where my brain is at right now. I want to comment really quickly, and we do have to move on because we promised ourselves that in season 2, we're going to be good about time, and we're almost on the verge of having to cut a story. I feel like, yes, I understand like the Kardashians are kind of like brand ambassadors for Balenciaga, but it really annoys me that like, I feel like the world, we are so fucking obsessed with like loving to hate the Kardashians that like nobody can exhale about anything before Kim has spoken. And I was getting so frustrated because I was just like, Jesus Christ, like she doesn't own Balenciaga. They came out and made a statement, and I feel like nobody even cared what they said because they were just like Kim. And it's like, guys, take a fucking like, by the way, she doesn't look like she's going to cut ties with them.
Yeah, it doesn't, based on the statement that she came out with, being like, I'm reevaluating, which we all know what that fucking means. Here's the thing. My brain goes to the data points at hand. She's a brand ambassador / spokesperson for the brand, right? She's done wonders for them from like a PR standpoint and a marketing standpoint. So that's number one for me of like why she should have come out with a statement sooner. Number two, you've got a shit ton of fucking kids. Like you should feel, once again, I feel like, I feel strongly about this, and I'm not a parent, but like you're a parent, your whole family has like 5,000 fucking kids. Like you would think that this would be sort of a topic of interest or importance to you around protecting sort of children within this context. Number three, what really drove me up the fucking wall about this was how speedy her response is. Like you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? She wants to respond to certain things and not others. This is like tied directly to her. So I felt like there has to be some kind of a response as like, these celebrities have a certain platform that they have, and there's a certain effect and influence that they have on society. But what drove me up the wall was, didn't she just come out against her husband because of the anti-Semitism that came out of his mouth, which rightfully so she should. But like that was an immediate thing. And then we have like a child pornography. Like it's interesting to me what she picks and chooses to respond to quickly, like what's of importance. The only reason she responded was because literally if you go on her Instagram right now, all of the comments on all of her recent posts, cancel the Kardashians, cancel their Hulu show, protect the children. Like it's literally being flooded with that. So it's really
here's the thing. She responded. Exactly. She responded because that's going to affect her bankroll.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Okay. We got to move on. All right. So the next one is Kelly Rowland doubled down on defending Chris Brown after his AMAs win. So the AMAs were last week. I think it was actually last Sunday.
It was on
November 20th. Kelly Rowland, who was a member of Destiny's Child, she's the one who famously texted in Excel on in what I forget which song that was.
What song was it?
Anyway, whatever. So she was on hand to present Chris Brown with the award for favorite male R&B artist, although he was not there. And so she also accepted the award on his behalf. And she went on to say, you know, Chris, I love you. You know, thank you so much for all of your contributions to R&B, blah, 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 blah. And people were booing him. And so she, I guess, like put her hand up and was like, chill out, everybody, like, shut up. Let me keep going. And then she continued to kind of praise Chris. So folks were not thrilled with that because of Chris's his previous the accusations, and actually he pled guilty to domestic violence against Rihanna, and then Karrueche Tran as well was another one of his ex-girlfriends that pressed charges or filed a restraining order against Chris. And she's basically come out, and Kelly has said, look, everybody deserves a second chance. We all do things that we're not proud of. I think we need to give, you know, folks grace. And so there's a lot of drama around that. And so I'm going to start the clock. What do you think?
I'm going to say something and I'll probably get a lot of shit for it, but I honestly think the only reason we're giving Chris Brown a pass for his like behavior and precedent that he set, because not only was he violent with Rihanna, but like we kind of saw through headlines and through his interactions with Karrueche Tran that he was also violent with her as well. I mean, the restraining order was granted back in 2017. So like, you know, pretty recent. I think the only reason we give him grace is because he's so talented. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I fucking love Chris Brown's music. He comes out with bangers, one right after the other. You know what I mean? Like I can shake my, like literally replay on the Spotify playlist. Not going to lie. My workout list, probably half of it, Chris Brown. No, that's a lie. Most of it's Doja Cat. But I feel like we give him leniency because of the fact that he's so good at his craft.
Well, does that go back to separating the artist from
the art? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean,
like we don't want to cancel Chris Brown. He also, I feel like the height of his allegations, I use that word even though he pled guilty, so his actions maybe is a better word. The height of that I feel like was before cancel culture was at its height. Whereas I feel like if that happened now, he would not have survived unscathed.
I agree. But then again, you have some people who like have evaded cancel culture entirely throughout this time period. Like look at Dave Chappelle, for example.
Yes, but I feel like
Chris Brown would be given the same leniency. Like Dave Chappelle is just so talented that like not going to be canceled. I said it. And he said some pretty like dicey shit. But,
I guess you're right.
Love him as a comedian, didn't get canceled. And I feel the same thing with Ricky Gervais happened. Said some dicey shit, did not get canceled. And I feel like Chris Brown would probably be on that list as well. It's so interesting what people pick and choose as cancelable. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Like, what makes the list? Like, I would love someone to do a survey looking at like what makes someone cancelable versus not. Because there are lots of
another episode topic.
Offenses.
Write it down. Seriously. Are we writing these down? I also think it's kind of, do you think because Rihanna seems to have, I don't want to say forgiven him, but she
publicly forgave him.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, but like, because she's cool with him, that gave his fans permission to not cancel him.
Could be. I have no idea. This is what I mean by I wish somebody would do this and make it like an actual study, because I think it's
why don't you do this?
I guess it's like, how would you set up the study? Like, what are the data points that you would look at? Like, yeah, I feel like I would also need the resources of like a university to be able to look at like the sociological factors and psychological factors, because they just have the resourcing and like the pipelines to do it. You know, I'm just a lonely tech worker and podcaster over here. What resources do I have? Poor old me. Someone wants to sponsor me doing this study, by all means.
I love it.
Our DMs are open, y'all.
I'm also a lowly corporate worker that does not have the resources. But no, that's my inclination. My inclination is that like Rihanna, who I feel like people love and respect just as much, if not more, than Chris Brown.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe a different kind of respect. I feel like Chris Brown, it's really like music industry focused and just like his music. Whereas Rihanna, it's like fashion, it's beauty, and it's just her because she's just a force.
100%.
So I feel like if she was able to move past it or accept it or whatever it is, then like, again, it gave his fans a pass.
Oh,
too.
100%.
That's my inclination. But
Okay.
I mean, I also feel like Kelly Rowland, like that was risky, man.
Also, I'm going to have to stop you there. You called her Kelly Rowland?
Kelly Rowland.
I thought her name was Kelly Rowland.
Oh, what is it? Kelly Rowland.
Because literally you've been saying this
God,
and I'm
you're
in my
right.
head. I was like, is this bitch really calling her Kelly Rowland? I was
Sorry.
like, have I just
Oh
been
my
wrong
God.
my whole life?
No, I think you're right. I think it is Rowland. I don't even have words. I'm just going to go ahead and blame like my current physical state after Thanksgiving. My body and my brain are clearly not functioning. Also, fun fact, she lives pretty close to me in Sherman Oaks. Kelly Rowland. You're Kelly Rowland. Oh my God. Wow, that's good timing to move on from Kelly Rowland and Chris Brown. And
Dear
I
Lord.
know it's Rowland. Okay. Hit us with the next one.
Next one. Oh, this was going to be juicy. Kanye West has been accused of showing Adidas employees his homemade sex tapes and explicit videos of Kim Kardashian. Okay, so context for listeners. Rolling Stones just released pretty much an article talking of abuse that former Yeezy and Adidas staffers and creative collaborators have experienced within the workplace. They claim that he played pornography to Yeezy staff in meetings, discussed porn, and showed an intimate photograph of Kim Kardashian in job interviews, and showed an explicit video and photos of Kardashian as well as his own sex tapes to Yeezy team members. Not only that, but people have said that he's been using this as sort of a power play. And some people in the article said that he was utilizing it to be like, see how uncomfortable you are? That's how uncomfortable you make me by like stealing my stuff. Then there's also notes that he has had like a porn addiction for a while and a sex addiction for a while. And this was like, he would literally, like in the article, they talked about how he would play pornographic material during meetings so that he could focus. Anyway, that's the context I'm going to provide. I think we should just like get into it.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Shit, I was doing so well. Okay. 5 minutes on the clock. I don't even know what to say about this. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny. That is
no, but
so
it is
weird.
kind of funny because it's like when you think of like Kanye and like how weird the past like 2 years have been for this man. I always think that he's reached the boundary of like where he's going to go. And this is it. This is as bad as it's going to get. And then somehow he surpasses that boundary.
I genuinely don't understand. Like, how is this guy still walking on the street? Like, how has nobody done anything to like, get him help?
You know, what's wild to me? This relationship between him and Adidas has been going on, I think, since like 2013. It might have been more or less. But like what's crazy is nothing was said before
until now.
This year. Till now. Like, I love that society was like, oh, everything's okay, everything's acceptable. And then now that like, I feel like the anti-Semitic stuff was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Now we're getting sort of all of these reports of a whole plethora of other things that he's done that like weren't made to light previous. And like I said, this relationship has been in the works for years.
Well, I feel like back then, right? They needed Kanye. They needed his creative genius, as people like to say. They needed his, his notoriety. They needed his brain, and they needed his partnership. But now he's ousted. They're going to continue to sell Yeezys. They're going to continue to make money off of it. And he's out of the picture. And so now I feel like you can, again, it's all about money at the end of the day. And I mean, that's really sad.
No, but like I feel what's going to happen now is they're going to get canceled because the whole premise and undertones of the article is that Adidas didn't protect their employees. and that Adidas and the VPs allowed for this behavior to continue on. And they made lenient policies to just like allow Kanye to do whatever he wanted, just because of once again, the bottom line. So I don't even think that this is going to like blow back on Kanye as much as people think it is. I think this is going to be a blowback on Adidas.
I'm not sure.
I mean, we've already like,
but
I feel like Kanye is already at the, like, were people surprised by this news? I wasn't surprised by this news, if I'm being frank. But I feel like from Adidas perspective, like hearing that Adidas was like extremely toxic in allowing this behavior, I think that was the bombshell of the article. But that's just my perspective on it.
No, see, I think that it's like shocking that he would. I don't know. I feel like Kanye was super protective over Kim, right? Like he didn't like her wearing overly sexy clothes and stuff like that.
That's true.
That is what I took away. I don't know. Maybe I'm just so fucking jaded because you hear about all this shit constantly. Not necessarily, knock on wood. I haven't experienced this necessarily, but I just feel like corporations, like shady shit goes down all the time. I was more surprised that he was like sharing intimate stuff between him and his wife when again, he didn't even like her wearing quote unquote provocative clothing. I'm also not like Kim. Stop doing this. Like, shit gets leaked. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Girl, protect yourself. You don't want everybody seeing your shit.
I guess, to your point, that was probably the most surprising aspect, was hearing that he shared photos of Kim, like intimate photos of her. Like, for me, I want to know, like, what do they mean by intimate? Was it like her in a bikini, or was it like sexually explicit, like, the type of shit that you would like sext your husband kind of?
No, I think it was the latter.
Oof.
Yeah, like I think it was like genuine,
Dear
like
Lord.
nudes and or sex, like homemade sex tapes. Didn't they say that?
Oh yeah, they did say homemade sex tapes. You're right. No, they said sex with women, like his homemade sex tapes with women. They didn't say it was Kim.
Okay. I don't know. I saw in another article that Kim is like, what video, what photos I want to see. And what's really sad is that my head was like, oh my God, she wants to make sure she looks good.
Probably. Probably.
I mean, wasn't there like a whole episode about Kim editing photos and like taking out her laptop in the middle of a birthday party and being like, you bitches are going to thank me later to make sure that I approve these images? Like, I don't know. Like I really feel, and I know that we're talking so much about the Kardashians. It's just all that's going on. I feel like that's all anybody cares about. And that's why I was so frustrated earlier about the whole Balenciaga thing.
Yeah, because the focus was
like,
on
Jesus Christ. Like, why can like nothing be about, and obviously that's a bad example maybe, but I was just like, instead of looking to Balenciaga, I feel like people were looking to Kim. And it's like, she's going to do what she's going to do. But like also, she didn't necessarily sign off on this. But okay.
Yeah.
That was shocking to me. So
it was. So we have one last one. And I think we can tie in the other thing because this one I think will be very quick. But once again, it is another Kardashian related headline just because I feel like it's the only thing that's going on in the news cycle this week. But Kim Kardashian asked fans what they want to see in the Kardashians season 3, and she probably didn't expect to get dragged this much. So context for our listeners, as we all collectively have come to the conclusion of this season of the Kardashians has been an absolute fucking snooze fest. It's actually wild to me how many people agreed with us in a previous episode when we were talking about the Kardashians and product placement. It is wild, like how the lack of shit that was going on in that season and how they dragged things on that didn't need to be dragged over 3-4 episodes. It seems that word has gotten back to Kim and her team, and they decided to poll folks, requesting them for feedback on what they would like to see in season 3. And she got absolutely fucking demolished. I'm going to be honest. A lot of people were upset with, I think, how they ended the season. The content that they shared during the season, especially when we knew of all of this stuff that was happening behind scenes around the same time, and we got none of that. So it then kind of begs the question, and we can start the time now because I just have a thought and I want to finish it. How long can the Kardashians really last upholding this bullshit model for their reality TV show, number one? And number two, you know, with all of these like headlines coming out that we're reviewing right now, how much do you think is actually going to get covered in season 3?
I don't know. I feel like they need to do a real quick pivot on what they do or don't show, or else I do think that season 3 is going to be
the last season.
Yeah. So in that article, and maybe we can link to it in our stories or something, because I do feel like it's long, but there's a lot of content, and it talks about what they did show. Then they literally go into like what they didn't show, and the amount of shit they didn't show is actually crazy. And I feel like sometimes because it's all I feel like we see in the media, I feel like, oh, like you don't realize that it wasn't necessarily on the show. But I mean, it's everything from like, you know, obviously Pete cut out of everything. They didn't talk about the Kanye and Kim drama at all. And the show started filming when that was like at its height. It didn't show Kourtney's wedding. Yeah. Excuse me?
Scott Disick is completely gone.
Scott is gone. And like, let's be real, guys. Scott, I think we can all agree Scott was the show.
He was fucking the fun one.
He was the comedic relief that we need, because none of them are funny. What else? Like, I feel like they didn't show.
Oh, they also didn't give us Kylie's baby's name.
Yes, Kylie's.
They didn't give us anything about the concert, the Astroworld tragedy. Nothing about that.
Well, that we knew they were never going to show that, right? We knew that. But yeah, apparently Kylie came out and said, oh, maybe in season 3 we'll tell you his name. And I really feel like they got to do something to they got to do a 180 on whatever it is that they plan on showing for season 3, because I don't think that they're going to have many viewers.
They're not. And I'm going to be honest. I think they, you know, the reason why they decided to move over from E over to Hulu is because of the creative control that they had. And as you know, Kourtney was very big about keeping her private life private. And I think all of them are trying to figure out a way to do that. And what's happening now is they're actually being way conservative on how much of their life they're keeping private, where it's like, we already know all this shit that you're showing us. Like, how long can you fucking drag out Met Gala prep, or like dedicate a whole season to 818 tequila, or dedicate a whole season to Kris Jenner's fucking hip replacement surgery? Yeah. I'm sorry. No, like, you all made your platform and got the audience that you got through the authentic openness of your lives. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Yeah. By like having this show, doing all this product placement, and expect people to still be entertained. That's not what you built your brand off of. It's not. And so it's either they fix it or no more Kardashians. Sorry, not sorry.
And I do think that a really big, I don't know, like fuck up. It was misleading. I think a lot of people feel like they were duped, because in all of the trailers, Pete is very much a thing, right? People were expecting Pete to be a main topic. They expect to see his face on the show, not just his voice on a phone call. I believe that a producer, an executive producer, actually came out and was like, oh my gosh, we can't wait to show you all the footage from Kourtney's wedding. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's going to be amazing. So like, they had the footage, and then obviously at the whatever hour, 11th hour, they decided to edit it all out. And I just, I feel like people, like, they're just losing so much credibility and trust. It's like, I feel 100%. Like they're really falling from grace, and even things like, hey, you can't make a fucking trailer that shows all this shit and make all these statements and then not give the people what they want. Yeah. So I think they have a lot of work ahead of them to redeem themselves from so much stuff. Like, I feel like 2022, I feel like their earnings were massive, but I feel like it was not
their year. Yeah. It was definitely an awful year for them from like a sentiment standpoint of the public.
Yes. Okay, let's loop in the final.
Yes. So final is essentially Kim Kardashian gets dragged for having a Friendsgiving with Tristan Thompson. Apparently she went to a prison. I guess she had hosted a Friendsgiving there at that prison as part of her, as we all know, her lawyer work on the side, pro bono work. And it seems like she brought Tristan Thompson along for the ride. But what's interesting here is people are quite upset about this. And they are upset about this because Kim did this solely with Tristan Thompson. I don't think anybody else from the family was there.
Yes.
And it's like your sister went through hell with this man and you're establishing a relationship with him. Okay. And then other people were saying like, oh, it's interesting that now we're doing like a whole PR thing to rejuvenate his image. Like, girl, bye. So that's pretty much been the sentiment about that. But I felt like it was a big enough one that we should probably touch on it just a little smidge.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about this. I think that I'm assuming that Kim wouldn't do that without consulting Chloe.
Sure. But why would you want to keep up a relationship with this man outside?
I don't know.
Like,
she hated him at first, right? That was a whole storyline at one point. I feel like
they're trying to rehabilitate his image. That's the whole point.
But for who? Why the fuck do they care?
I don't know. No idea.
Right? So again, I don't know. This is one of those things where I'm like, would I necessarily want to hang out with, you know, my sister's ex who cheated on her multiple times while she was like in labor? Probably not. But I also feel like if they are able, like Rihanna, if they are able to move past it.
No. Here's the thing. If it were about the kids, like establishing a relationship for the sake of the children, right? Because he is family no matter what at this point. I would understand if it was like a family oriented event, but this was just them two. And he didn't really have any ties to any of this. So it just seemed very weird that he was like, oh, I'm a tack on, be the plus one to this like Friendsgiving, like jail Friendsgiving thing that you're doing, because like, I don't know. It just seemed so strange and off kilter for me.
It's weird, but I feel like there's like some dynamic that we don't understand. And listen, I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. I think if Chloe can be accepting of her children's father in her family's life to a degree, then I think who are we to tell her she can't hang out with him?
But like, what purpose?
What's the point? I don't fucking know. That I don't have an answer for you.
Like, I would get it if it was like, oh, he's like coming to like one of the kids' like Kim's kids' birthdays, right? And she invited him because he's part of the family, and you know, True would want to see her dad there, et cetera, et cetera. Sure, I would understand that, but this doesn't make sense to me in that logic, in that line.
I agree with that, but maybe I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe maybe he's getting involved in something. Maybe he's starting a charitable organization. We don't know, is all I'm saying.
You know how I feel about Tristan.
I know how you feel about him.
No fucks to give about that man. None whatsoever.
I know. And I think he's obviously like a piece of shit for shit he's done to Chloe and to his children. But again, I also feel like if like I'm just trying to think, because I just feel like it's who are we to judge that relationship if
That's
Chloe
the whole point
herself
of the podcast is to judge. So
yes,
I'm a judge.
But it's also it's to judge, but it's also to give our perspectives.
No, 100%.
And I just feel like that is effort that people are putting into something that really you shouldn't put that much effort into. That's what I think.
I will say it's admirable that you're trying to be devil's advocate here, but I will just say to end it that none of it makes sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. But listen, growth. Remember, growth. I've become wiser. I'm doing a lot of therapy. And all I'm saying is it's not worth your fucking effort. It's not worth your headache.
No, it's not.
Kristen.
Correct.
But with that, we are way over time.
Yeah, way over time. We hope you'll enjoy today's episode, and we will see you later this week on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.